Hi, everybody. Welcome to Hooking and Stitching Island Style. I'm Antionette, your hostess, coming to you from Deer Island, New Brunswick, located in the Bay of Fundy. If you're watching the replay, thank you. I hope you enjoy it. There is a surprise co-host for today. I want to thank all returning Fiber Feeling members, new Fiber Feeling members. If it's your first time here, like what you see, click the subscribe, the bell, and all, and hopefully YouTube will notify you when I upload a video, have a live, or post on the community tab. So, hope everybody's doing well. Nobody's here yet, and my co-host was here, and then they disappeared, but they'll be back. Priest Guardian, first one here. Thank you very much. He's a big supporter of the channel. Thank you very much. This was a surprise pop-up. I've been talking to the co-host, and welcome in, Stephanie. Welcome in. When the co-host gets back, I will put them up. So there's only a few of you here, so I'm going to bring up the co-host so you can see until everybody gets here. But surprise, it's Courtney from Fiberfox Studios. Welcome, Jeanette. Welcome in.
Hello.
You disappeared. Welcome in, Dragon Cat. Welcome in. Welcome in, Perp. Welcome in. Courtney from Fiberfox Studios is my surprise co-host for today. Little sis had to go see her mother-in-law, so I don't know if she'll be coming up. But I thought I'd have Courtney on because I had posted a video. I shared it on the Yayas. Courtney, after long awaited, I have been waiting for this since I did my FAIRHAVEN shawl. Courtney is doing a mosaic cardigan, and she's going to be putting a tutorial up for it. Now, I will tell you, I'm surprised because she had put a poll out there to answer in the comments if it would be something you'd be interested in. Would you need a full tutorial, just a partial tutorial, So, and the response was low. I'm very surprised. As you guys can all see, there's my FAIRHAVEN right there. And I love my FAIRHAVEN shawl. I will not part with it for nothing. It's mine. I'm keeping it. I'm very proud of it. And
I love yours too. You know, it's one of my favorites. This is Courtney with sorry. Studios, and welcome. I'm trying to get y'all pulled up so I can see chat and everything.
Yeah, I have YouTube on over there, and I have it muted. I always make sure I mute it.
Yeah, I forgot to mute.
But
I got it.
So welcome everybody for coming in. I have a little bit of little acquisitions. The stuff here that's in this bag is for the Podiversary, so you guys get to see some of the prizes in the Podiversary. Also, anybody that has purchased from the Shop My Stash sale I had, welcome in, Kim G. Welcome in. Thank you for your purchases, and all round 1 and round 2 have been sent out. I do still have some stuff here in the tote, and I will be adding more to it next month. But there is some really nice bulky 5 in here that will make great hats for the winter and stuff like that. So that's still here. Sock yarn, bye-bye. It sold quickly. I had one person that bought 14 bags of the sock yarn. And most people that knew what the price of sock yarn was knew that those bags were good priced. I mean, $12, $14 for 2 skeins of sock yarn. They usually go for $20 to $25, $30 Canadian. I always talk in Canadian funds. So, it's been a busy day. I've been running. As you can see, I'm a mess. I got attacked by deer flies, and they bit me pretty bad. They tore me up. I had a horse fly, took 2 chunks out of me. And then Kiva, the poor baby, something bit her so bad in 2 places that she's bleeding. We don't know what. I have to take her to the vet. Yeah, I don't know. Last year, Kiva Gracie got attacked by red ants, and it just tore her face up, and I had to put her on antibiotics and on cream. I took 2 chunks out of me. And I just hate hearing myself talk. Oh God, that's just like god awful. But so welcome in everybody.
Yes,
we'll chat for a little bit.
Everyone, I'm getting into the chat now.
Yep, and we'll be responding in the chat as well. And I'll wait for a little bit more, a few more people to come in before we start talking about the cardigan. In the meantime, I'm going to open up this bag so you can see what some of the prizes are, because I've got stuff coming in for the next month for the Podiversary. And there is a couple of makers that I'm getting some hand dyed from. I already got Mama G's. I've got an order from Dawn, Aaron, and from Spring, the fiber enthusiast. I want to get some from them and offer those as prizes. So I got a new scale. Okay. Digital kitchen scale for for mailing out Happy Mail and stuff, because it was a really good price. It was like 70% off, and it takes up to 33 pounds. And you ask, do I ship boxes that heavy? Yes, I do.
She does.
I had a few comments when I posted, and I just did it for FYI to show you. When I posted, welcome in, Anvita, welcome in. When I posted what I spent for 12 months in shipping, and quite a few people were like, "Oh my God, that's expensive." Yeah. Yes, it is expensive. That's why I don't do all the giveaways I used to do, or the big ones anyhow. Welcome in, Michael. Welcome in. Again, feel free to drop your links only once a half hour, please. If you can't, my moderators will gladly drop your links to your channels. Dragon, there you go, Courtney.
I'm waiting for the chat to come up again. I keep having to refresh. Sorry.
No worries. Welcome in, Josie. Welcome in. Yeah, I'm just waiting for a few people, and then we're going to discuss. I'm going to go through this real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to Courtney. I'm going to put her big, and she's going to talk about this mosaic cardigan. And her and I have been talking about that's what, a year and a half, Courtney, 2 years since we did FAIRHAVEN?
Yeah, at least.
Yeah, it's been a couple years. Her and I have been talking about the mosaic cardigan, and it's in combining regular crochet. You can combine Tunisian crochet with the mosaic. So there's all kind of opportunities here for creativity. But this is a new scale. Ta-da! So I got
that's a nice one. That's a nice one.
Okay, let's look what's in the bag real quick. It's actually 2 orders. This is all stuff for the Podiversary.
And thank you, Dragon Cat. I think I see it now. I think I'm in current chat right now. Thank you. And is the last person, Dragon Cat, also saying hi to Kim G? Is that the most recent comment?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. We're good then.
Okay. So I got just a few things to show you. And again, they're going into the tote that I have for all of the Podiversary prizes. So I'm just emptying the bag out here. Okay. The first thing I got, welcome in, Demetra, welcome in, is it takes balls to be a hooker. It's a notions bag. and usually when I have for the Podiversary, when I have a notions bag, I will, and somebody gets a prize, the notion bag has notions in it. So that's the Podiversary. Then I got a set of, these are nautical coasters. Again, we all know about my nautical thing. Yeah. My whole bedroom's being redone. And Vita, now that I'm back to work on the ferry, I've got to go ahead in the schedule to find out, but it's going to be somewhere around the 19th, between the 13th and 19th of August. I'm going to finalize that by the end of the month. That'll be up and it'll be prepped and ready to go. I've got to talk to some people about panel and stuff like that, and people that offer prizes. I got to get back to them. Lots of things to do, and working 94 hours every 2 weeks it's a little rough. Then I got, if you remember, they have these medallions you can wear that are cutters that you can cut with. I got a couple of those. Oh, yeah. Yep, I got a couple of those.
I love those. I love that.
And there's the other one. It's kind of like iridescent.
Yes, that's so pretty.
And they're cutting tools. Then I got a couple packs of crochet hooks. I got another set of these because everybody seemed to like these last time. They're the fancy handles.
Yes, those are so pretty. I like those.
And then I got a set of bamboo handled with like a goldish top. Nice. So those are going to be prizes for the. Pretty. And then this is for my beaders, my people that make stuff with jewelry, or people that like to work with thread. This is an interchangeable needle set, crochet hook set that is these are the very fine needles. This is what I use when I do thread.
Those are pretty. That's nice. It's got everything that you need all in that one.
Yep. And it's interchangeable. So it's great for beading, for doing threads. I'll just show you real quick how it works.
Yes.
This is the smallest one. It's very, very, very small. It is, I can't even read it. Whew. It is, whoops, 0.5 millimeter. I dropped one. Okay. And all you do is it goes into here. You turn this like that. You drop this in. As soon as I figure out how to do it. Anyways, it goes into here somehow.
Excuse me, y'all.
Oh, you got to screw it out. You screw this out. That drops in. You screw this back in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's locked in there.
Yes,
so this is an interchangeable. I just dropped a tiny little bitty screw too.
Oh no.
My big fat fingers.
Right. I don't mess with small stuff and all. Like I just won't on camera because I'm telling y'all, butterfingers.
Well, I'm working on a thread project right now called the Water Lily. It is a motif that you can use for tablecloth bedspread, but I'm going to make it to stiffen it to put as a bowl, because I want to make that. If you look in the back of Courtney's, to her left, the lampshade she made, I just absolutely just love that lampshade, and I'd really want to make that.
I made sure last time I showed it when I showed it in my video, where you could, well, I guess you could see it in the last couple of videos. But when I have showed it, I don't think I remembered each time to turn the power on out here so that I could turn it on.
Well, that would help, Courtney.
Right. Today, I remembered because this would not be happening if there wasn't a fan on and like directly pointed on me, because it is so hot here. So I did not forget the fan. The heat out here reminded me. As soon as I came out and sat down, I was like, oh, and on it came, and then I switched on the light.
Okay. Welcome in, Dawn Aaron. Welcome in. Speaking of Dawn Aaron, that's one of the ladies I'm going to get in contact to buy some yarn from her, of her hand-dyed yarn for the Podiversary. Now, I have a larger version of this, but for those that make granny squares motifs, I've showed, people have seen mine. This is a blocking mat for motifs.
Yeah.
It comes with the steel things that you put the motif around, and then it's got some needles too, tapestry needles. Can you tell what kind of day I'm having? I'm telling you.
Yeah, I can tell you're having the same day I'm having.
Well, you know, I've been. I will say I got to get in the pool one day. I got heat stroke Thursday at work. I was sick. I was really sick. It was between 41 and 45 Fahrenheit, Celsius. No breeze, and I was on that deck for 14 hours. Well, 13 and a half hours on deck. And it really did me in. So the next day I was in the pool, got the steps in, and my butt was in the pool till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It took me till Friday night to cool my body temperature down. Welcome in, Lindsey. Need to go chic. Anybody that's been here a while knows that I have interviewed Lindsey. She has been on the channel a couple of times. The other thing is, these are stitch markers, but they're also row counters. Now, these here are knitting or crochet, and it goes from 10 to 90, and you can put them on for your thing. These are just some little things for the Podiversary. And then the
Yes.
other thing I got, I thought was so pretty, so vintage. You know, you guys know me. I like my vintage. I found this. And I thought this would be great to go into one of my Notions pouches. And on it, it says, love you, love beyond measure. On the front and the back, it says love beyond measure.
I like that. That's really nice.
So, and it's a measuring tape. You just press center, it goes back in. So that is one of the other prizes. So those are the prizes that I had for the pot of earthry. Again, I'll show them as they come in, and then they'll go into the tote with all the other prizes. And we'll have a big celebration in August. Yes, I did. I sent Lindsey, because Lindsey's getting into crochet. She's my knitwear designer. And I sent her some videos to watch of you, Courtney.
Yes. And I am so excited that you are getting into it. And I hope that you start designing. Like, I would really, really love to see what you would do with it once you get the hang of it. What do you think?
The way her mind works is phenomenal. The design she makes. I mean, you guys have seen all the patterns and stuff that I've done. Demetra just got a book, Take the Plunge book. It was her first hard copy book. There's another one coming out later this year. If you watch the interview, if you haven't watched the interview, I'll put it in the description box when this goes to replay. Other than that, let me see. Yeah, because I'm off today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. Then I'm back to work for 5 days. So it's going to be hard for me to really do any videos. By the time I get home from work at night, it's 8 o'clock. I'm up at 4. Right. And I don't get home from work till 8. I got to shower, get things ready for the next day for work. But I'll try to do some fairy blogs. People seem to like the fairy blogs. If I can catch the sun rising on my way to work, because it's daylight here by 5 a.m. and the sun doesn't really set till about 9:30, 10 o'clock. So I am going to turn this over to Courtney. I'm going to put her solo, and she's going to start talking about.
You stay on. Don't you abandon me.
I'm not abandoning you. We're just going to.
I don't want the big screen all by myself. She does it anyway.
There's Courtney.
And hey, so now she's made a mistake. Because she's turned it over to me and I'm big screen. Did y'all see how dirty she did me in that thumbnail for this thing? I'm like, oh. Right.
I'm still here.
You're there, but they can't see you. So yeah, I gotcha.
I wouldn't want to look at me. Brain length of time.
So now I don't really know. Like, first I want to say I'm always nervous, like being on camera, even when no one is there. So I am nervous. I may stumble up in explanations, but I don't really know what y'all want to hear about the mosaic cardigans. I don't know what to start with, I guess. And I don't know who here has seen that video and who hasn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know what to start with.
Start with the concept of how just the basics of the concept of the mosaic cardigan. So
with the mosaic cardigan, just like with any cardigan or top, all I am doing is switching out the stitch. Maybe that will kind of help y'all to understand, like, there is no innovation here. Okay, I have invented nothing. I am taking existing techniques for making garments and swapping the stitch from a double crochet or shell stitch to mosaic stitch. So that is all we're doing. So with the mosaic, just like with any other stitch, there's a repeat. If you're doing a lace pattern or a certain stitch pattern, you have a repeat that you have to do on the row, and you're chaining in a multiple, so you have enough space for everything to complete and be even. So we're doing that same thing just with mosaic. I'm going to show y'all this. It's not a sweater or anything, and this might kind of help to see, like, because all to me I'm doing is just changing out a stitch to make something that we've all made before or seen before, because there's only so many ways to make things. I mean, at some point, you make clothes the way you make clothes, you know, you can't, there's only so many ways to do it. So let's pretend like this is a back panel of a sweater. And you've all made them, you know, something in multiple pieces. So instead of making multiple pieces, we're just adding on where we need to, and then joining it. So you could not use the techniques or the two styles that I showed construction wise. You could use any construction method, and you would just follow the patterns multiple for the motifs that I have the tutorials for. So you just, if it's a multiple of 10 plus 4, then you're going to chain in the multiple of 10 and then add your 4 stitches on and then continue from there. So it's nothing like, I'm not reinventing anything or creating anything new. So I'll show the sweater that's done, or the cardigan that's done from the sleeve first. And let me know if I should show y'all like a sketch of it in pieces, because I'm not going to be able to show y'all the whole thing very well. I don't have space to move back. But we'll start with sleeve one. And I will read, I'm going to show y'all this and then I'll read the chat. Or Antoinette can speak up and tell me what questions I'm missing. Can y'all see this is a sleeve? So all we did was start at the sleeve, and then we build out from here to make the rest of it on each side. So we're just working in one piece instead of making separate pieces and then joining them together to make a sweater or a top or anything. So anything that you can make in any type of crochet, if you've made a tank top before, you can do a mosaic in that same.
Courtney, what would you think about combining Tunisian crochet with the mosaic?
I haven't tried it personally. I know you can, because I use tapestry is the way I do it. I know they do a Tunisian mosaic. There is like I've seen a book on Amazon. It's pulled up like a billion times. It keeps trying to tell me I need to buy it. So I know that you can. I just don't know how.
We have somebody in the chat. We call him the King of Tunisian. That's MDL Crochet, Michael.
Yeah, I know who he is.
yes, it does. And maybe this is something we can do a collaboration on down the line. Tunisian combined with overlay mosaic.
Right.
It could be something. We had a question. I'm going to come back up here for a minute because I have to share my screen. Had a question. What is the difference between overlay mosaic crochet and brioche? And I found the answer. So I am going to share my screen and let you see what the difference is.
Because I do not know. So good you found it.
Okay. This here is the difference between overlay mosaic crochet. It's a technique. An overlay crochet, 2 or more layers of stitches are worked on top of each other to create a raised effect. Stitches are typically worked into the spaces between the stitches of the previous row. Stitch placement. All stitches, unless otherwise stated, are worked in the back loop only. This leaves the front loop of the stitches available for future use in future rows. Overlay crochet creates a 3-dimensional effect, making the design stand out. Then you go to brioche. Brioche crochet emphasizes texture. It uses post stitches, such as front post double crochet, to showcase color changes. The raised stitches not only create eye-catching patterns, but also provide a fantastic tactile experience. So that's the difference between overlay mosaic and brioche. Brioche is using your post stitches, and overlay mosaic is using in the back loop only single crochet, and your double crochets are created using the front loop on the row below. So that is the difference between the two. Okay, there we go. Welcome in, Mima, Divergent. If I've missed you, welcome in, everybody. I was kind of off sharing screen. So that was a good question, Lindsay. Thank you. You know, so that's the difference. What I find fascinating about this project is I've wanted a garment using the mosaic. One, it's warm, but two, I love the visual of like Tunisian and overlay mosaic as opposed to traditional crochet. I haven't got into brioche knitting. Knitting is different. Today we're talking about crochet. So my knitters or my bi-stitchuals in here or my tri-stitchuals. People say, what's tri-stitchuals? Tri-stitchual is crochet, knitting, and Tunisian. Okay, Tunisian's is really a marriage of knitting and crochet because you're keeping your loops on the hook like you do in knitting and remove them and then coming back. But I'm a newbie to Tunisian. I'm a newbie to mosaic. For me, it's been a long journey doing the mosaic, but I took on the big FAIRHAVEN project and fell in love with it. Actually, there's a piece on its way to Courtney right now that I did. I made her a placemat using the boho blanket pattern. So that's on its way, so she can get it up close and let me know how my tension is.
I knew you were making that. I didn't know you were giving it to me. Thank you.
This way you can see how my tension is and everything on it. But
yeah.
I think it's a great idea because it gives you more options, more techniques to try. And I think the more diverse your skill set is, you know, the more projects you can do, whether you make them for gifts, make them for yourself, make them to sell. You know, I flip-flop between all of my different techniques because each one uses a different set of muscles. When you get to be old like me and you get old Arthur rearing his ugly head, sometimes you have to switch from my crochet to my knitting just to get the muscles to rest because they ache.
Right.
So that's, you know, and again, I'm one of those multi-project persons. I have stuff in every technique going at the same time. I'm not a monogamous crafter. Okay. Divergent, yes. Courtney, she will be giving instructions on doing increases and decreases for better fit with mosaic. Explain to them how that works.
It's not what you're thinking. I'm not teaching that. Like I'm teaching the most simple way to take existing construction techniques and use one of my patterns with them to make a garment. I'm starting with the most simple that does not involve increase and decrease. Now, what I would suggest in the way that I custom fit stuff to my own body when I make things is I use a decrease or increase in my hook size to start to create that shape. Usually I'm for something like this and then coming back out to bring things in so that they don't hang away from my body in this area because it adds bulk to me where I don't want there to be bulk. So I will start changing my hook size and going down as I get closer to the bust and then bringing it back out to create shape. I don't drop stitches or add stitches typically when I'm just trying to get a better fit. So what I'm teaching, I'm going to grab, let me show the sketch. Okay. So there we go. So this is upside down. First of all, think of it like this. We're starting down here, making our back, and then we just come over and make our arms right here. Just extend. All we're doing is adding chains to it. Like that's all I'm doing. Over on the side, I know that that's like something you've seen before, where you start making something and then you add chains to it. I mean, I've even done that. So we add chains out and then we start again, picking back up on our pattern and continuing to work. So I haven't changed anything or invented a new wheel. So we start here and then we just chain out on each side. And this part right here, and man, this is weird pointing on camera, trying to like, okay. But we start here and we're making the back side of our sleeve, working across, and we just keep going. And then when we get up here, we're making the front part of our sleeve and the little bit that is here in the front. That's what's going on. And then when we start to make our front panels, because we are in one piece, we're not joining anything together, we follow the line that is created. This is so hard. That's created right here by our back panel. We just follow that up, and I am going away. And we start in again here. So we clip our yarn and we come into that point. We just follow up. I got to be in camera for y'all to see what I'm pointing at.
Yes, ma'am.
I am so sorry. Okay. Because I need to see too to make it a little bit easier. So we're here and we're just following up. And then when we come in here, we mark the stitch and we start making our front panel, just working back and forth, staying with our pattern. Mosaic has repeat. So you can often find, like I will find my center when I go to start this. Am I in camera?
Yes, you're in camera.
Okay. So when I go to start this part up here, I'm going to find my center of our total. We can measure it, you know, whatever you want to do. But we want to find the center, and then we want to double check and count, make sure we've got the same number of stitches on this side and the same number of stitches on this side. So I'll find my center because I'm going to have to leave a space for our neckline, you know, our head hole. So I am going to mark that and figure that out. And that's going to determine the amount, you know, if I, like on one of mine, I know for sure, I looked at my notes, I skipped 13 stitches here in this center. So my center part that's going to sit basically at the back of my neck, I skipped in 13. So then I check my count and make sure that I am able to have the same number of stitches from the now what's going to be my inner edge of my front panel to my outer edge of my front panel. And I just check the count, mark the same thing. Now, coincidentally, very easy because we're following this line up from here. I know I write down how long my sleeve is. So if I chained 48 chains out plus 1, and that plus 1 disappears, so we just use that to knot down that end of the row. So I have 48 stitches that I'm working right here total with my border stitch, or what I call the traditional single crochet at the end of the row. So I make sure I will have exactly 48 here on this side. And then when I chain on this side to create this side of the panel, I am using the exact same amount. So I actually know that when I get up here, after I've done, you know, my 30 or 40 rows that I needed to make the total width of my sleeve, I can count in 48 stitches in my case for this example. I would count in 48 stitches, and I know I can mark that on this side and then turn around and do the same thing, coming in 48 stitches from the other side and marking it. And then I check and make sure that whatever I mark here, I make sure that each of these panels are going to be the exact same number of stitches. And then the caution or thing you have to pay attention to is that number, how many ever stitches you end up with that's going to become a panel, you have to make sure that you divide that by your pattern, multiple. You have to, and so you want to make sure that if you're doing a multiple of 4, that these panels are for a multiple of 4 pattern.
Courtney,
That makes
one of the things I remember you saying was to stay in your multiple. You were talking about staying in your multiple, that you don't chain, you don't put the traditional what do you call it? You call your traditional single crochet at the end, like where it says multiple of 16 plus 5 or whatever. Once you finish that sleeve, you don't do that. You're already in pattern, correct?
correct. So you have to worry. What we're doing is we're just setting up, adding more stitches to our existing chain count. So when we set up, in this case, this is the back panel one. Pretend that this bottom section is not here. And that means it looks just like the blue one that I showed in that video where it's a cropped. We can add more onto the bottom of it. Okay. So where was I going with this? Okay. So we set it up in the patterns multiple down here. So if you pick a pattern and the multiple is 16 plus 4, then we do our count down here based off of that. So when we come up here and we're chaining out to create our sleeves and remaining shoulder and front panel. When we chain out, we're doing in a multiple of 16 because we already have accounted down here for those stitches and we're just making more. So when we do our add-on up here, I don't need to add 16 plus 4 again. I am going to add in the multiple of 16 and then add one more chain so I can create a knot at the end of the row. So that's just a bind off chain. So when I do my math and I account for the total number of stitches I have here, plus these over here, that will be still evenly divided by the pattern's multiple. We will, when we are working back through that single crochet that was here at this part, we're not going to work that traditional single crochet there anymore. When we start here on our starting side to begin working our larger panel directly on, we're now going to need to work a traditional single crochet in the start of the row here. So we're moving it. That we're not adding another one. We're just moving and we're not going to work this one here anymore. We're just going to work it down here at the new row start. So when I work through and I get to that part, you are going to have a tricky little single crochet that was a traditional one, not leaving a front loop exposed. You're not going to have that. So you'll have to kind of dig in the stitch just a little bit to grab. Basically, I believe what I'm grabbing is the front bar of it. But when I make my stitch, if it's a single crochet stitch, it's not a problem. You'll just like work through as a single crochet. But if you hit at that point with a double crochet, when you're going down to grab that stitch, you're grabbing like whatever you can basically to create that double crochet in that spot. And then all you're doing is you just continue working the pattern multiple. So whatever stitch falls there, you'll just pretend like that single crochet is your back loop that you need to be there. And you'll grab it instead. So then you just work across. You have to do that one more time over here. And then you end your row with your single crochet. So we just move them out. If we added more, you end up with too many stitches. And I know that because I did that. I wasn't thinking it through all the way. I just thought, okay, I need to add more. So I add again in the full multiple. But that is not it. You have to do just one. And then it works out.
You feel better now? I'm excited about Courtney doing the tutorials for this. I've picked yarn out and I do have a binder. I get designers that have their own binders when I start getting a lot of their patterns. So I got a lot of Courtney's patterns here. My favorite is Butterfly Alley and Butterfly Lane. Those are my two favorite. That's the one I'm going to make my cardigan out of. I've actually caked up the yarn for it. I'm using Royal Purple Comfort, Red Heart Comfort, and this is the Precious Shawl on the Ball, which is discontinued, and I love Shawl on the Ball. And this is half of them. And that's what we're going to be doing. Now, Courtney does have one that literally just the bottom part of the cardigan is mosaic and the top is traditional. She has it there. She had done one that was just like a traditional, double crochet, half double crochet, link double crochet, whatever you want to do. And she has it right here.
Hold on.
You got it?
I have it out here. So
this has been a long time in the making.
Point out real quick before I forget.
Oh, they're asking what weight yarn do you recommend for using it?
Okay, I really think that the smaller your yarn is, the better the drape is. So that's what I suggest, as small as you can go when you're making garments. Unless you are going for a boxy style, which I love, and there's a total place for that. But size 4 actually can be kind of stiff, and you don't want it to stick out from you. You don't want it to look like you're wearing a cardboard cutout of a sweater. And so I don't recommend with these styles, because the way that the arm is and everything, I don't recommend size 4 for it. 3, we'll see how mine comes out fully in 3. Size 1 and size 2 is the best. That's what I recommend.
Use more yarn. You'll use more yarn. I've mixed weights. I've mixed a 2 and a 3 together. I've mixed a 3 and a 4 together. You can mix weights.
All my stuff has mixed weight. All of my stuff has mixed weight. I mix weights all the time. All the time. I'm going to stand up real quick. So, well, if I could just get it. Come on down. There we go. Sorry. Okay. So, this one, same construction. I just didn't do the pattern right here when I started it. I didn't do the bottom. I made the top, the whole solid top. And then on this, I literally counted the number of stitches I ended up with when I made it in the full one piece and then folded it to create the top of the cardigan. I'll try to hold at least half of it up. Hopefully y'all can see that. So once I created the top, I counted my stitches, and then I did the math to figure out how many, what multiples I could work with. So it was total crapshoot basically on what was going to be at the bottom of this one when I made this. So I added the mosaic portion to it afterward, instead of what all this is supposed to represent is like I have one pattern down here, then I move to another pattern, and then like we go solid or whatever, or another pattern up here. So I didn't put this part on. I just worked this top that's all white, and then we go through and we add the mosaic on, and we just start working, and we're working from the front around to the other side, and we just basically are working in long rows now. At that point, there's no other construction that happens. You just start going straight down. And the reason that I did that was, especially with the differences in sizes of yarn, when you sew the panels together, if you have it all done, you can do it that way. But I felt like the extra seam here on the side would make it kind of bulky, maybe, and make it look more boxy, even in size 1 yarn. So, and I might be wrong on that, but that was just like my guess at it. So I want to try to show you the seam that we have. There's a seam on this underside of the sleeve, and then right here where we sew that together. But if you look at the mosaic portion, so I'm right here on the seam right now. Let me find it. There's a seam somewhere. Can y'all see it?
Yep, I can see it.
When we get down here, I'm staying in the same area or trying to. There's no more seam.
So it's a solid piece.
It goes one solid piece, working directly on and just going all the way around to the front. So we just work from, gosh, I'm so good with the camera, y'all. Okay. We start from the front all the way around to our other front at that point.
And what's nice is, for those that don't like to weave in ends, because mosaic has a lot of ends, I believe one of yours, you were leaving it as, you know, you were leaving the fringe on the bottom for part of the sweater itself.
Right. So I pulled out a tail so I could show y'all where they are. I try to stagger them, you know, as much as possible, but I was short on yarn. And so I was kind of stingy with the amount I was leaving for a tail. But all my tails during this mosaic portion, I work them towards the back side. Like after I'm done, I feed them into the back side and I do the double, the knotted bind off. I do the 2 chains and then I cinch it down. I show it in all of my tutorials, and I have a separate short video that shows how I do the knotted bind off. And I have a really old video that shows me sewing in and binding it off. And I talk about staggering it and how I just do this to what's left of the tail after I clip the excess. I kind of fray that and it becomes way less noticeable. Now this one has not been washed or anything, so they're not completely disappeared yet. Once it's washed or really worn, you no longer see them. But I pulled one out because I had fed one in a little bit. That's why I do the knotted bind off, and I do not recommend sewing in any excess, because just from me picking up, showing it and all that, it worked the tail out. And I've had that happen so many times. I used to follow that advice. I no longer do that. I knot everything. If you don't want, you can not, but
now could you add a border to around the 2 front panels and around the neck? Could you add a border or ribbing to the sleeves net? Yep. Okay.
Yeah. I just did it. I was running short on yarn. So I just did a slip stitch edge all the way around to give me a clean edge. And when I got to the bottom, I did the ribbing around the bottom. Sleeve, I am not a big fan of ribbing, but you can obviously add it. I did not. I did slip stitches for several rounds and then single crochet and slip stitched to just give a clean edge. And I wanted to make sure that, you know, it looked finished and not like just left there.
Well, one of the things I decided already on mine, I love the high, let me get back here. I love the high French cuff. I like the high cuffs. So I want to put a high cuff on mine with a little bit of ballooning to the sleeve. That's one of the things, the design elements that I've already put in my head that I want to do with mine.
Yes, it's because, okay, I like a wide boxy sleeve. I like that because of my arms. I don't want, right, exactly. I'm not doing it because this is a short shirt. Y'all already saw me put up my hair in a ponytail, so that's all you're getting of my granny arms. But that's something that I don't try to highlight, in all seriousness. I do not try to highlight this. So, and I like a 60s style top. Okay, so the 50s, 60s, the way they wore the little blazers and stuff like that, the boxy style of it, I love that. So that's kind of like my thoughts. Like when I'm making something that I want to wear. If I don't want to wear it, I don't make it. That's why I don't have bikini tops on here. Okay, I'm not going to put on a bikini top, so I'm not making one. It's, you know, really fun to make and then share, but I'm by no means an expert on anything at all. I'm just, you know, going through. And to me, once you realize that you may have already made something in these exact construction techniques. And all we have to do is just think of it as switching out the stitch, and the pattern's multiple is provided to you. So you know how to get your counts. So then you measure yourself and you're able to create. It's very simple shapes. And we can use different hook sizes at different points depending on what we're trying to do. If you're towards the bottom of your sleeve, and these we're making big wide panels, you know, onto this body. Let me hold up the picture. So we're making these panels, and if I wanted it to taper, I have a couple options. You can do the mosaic portion where it only goes for so far on your arm, and then you switch solid, bringing it down, and you can then decrease like you normally would for any other garment or thing that you make. You could do that the rest of the way down. There's some patterns, like pattern number 36, it would look really good doing that, because it would look like you should. Any of the triangle patterns, same thing. You could just kind of make them flow on down into a solid section to taper your sleeve. Otherwise, with these construction styles, you're going to have to start dropping hook sizes towards the row end. That would mean that you, when you're starting your row on your starting side, you would be starting with your smaller hook and then increasing hook size as you go down your sleeve to get you the hook sizes you're using for the rest of your body and everything. And working over here and then starting to go down from the largest hook size that you're in, going downwards to the smallest. And you would just have to figure out how many stitches you're breaking that up into. That's like you're doing 5 in a 3 millimeter hook. And then the next 5 stitches of the repeat, you're doing it in a 3.5 millimeter hook. And then in the next 5, you're going to 3.75 millimeter. Doing that will make it scrunch down naturally. So when you fold that sleeve, it's going to be smaller. It just like with this side, the way that it is now, because we're not decreasing our hook size or anything. We have a boxy sleeve. So it's kind of like a boxy sleeve that you could easily balloon out and make it, you know, like what you were talking about. It's like already set up because it's wide already. So, is that make sense?
So you would just I would go to, like, say I'm using a 5 millimeter H hook for my mosaic section of it. I'm doing my sleeves, okay, because I'm going to do my sleeves. Okay, just for the sake of, I'm just going to do my sleeves all in just, you know, a link double crochet or a double crochet. Once I get down to the bottom and I start doing the ballooning, then I would go to a 1-2 sizes smaller to do the cuff.
I think you could jump that much down. You could. I typically try to taper my stuff down. I try not to go from like a 5 millimeter to a 3 millimeter. But if that, you might need to get it to pull in the way that you want it to. The only thing that's tricky for me when I've tried to do that is I start losing stitches really quick because I'm making such a drastic change. It becomes kind of hard to tell what you're doing. If you only have to do it one time and you're just going to like finish it off, like with a slip stitch round, you could get away with it. But if you're trying to build out and start working more, it might just make it like really hard to get into your stitches. Then you can end up with it looking wonky and your tension off. It's worth a shot. Maybe somebody else has tried something like that and can tell us. Anybody? And have we missed any questions? Have we missed any questions? I don't want, or have I confused anybody?
I've been keeping up looking here. So, Courtney, when do you think, are you working on tutorials now, or are you waiting to see the feedback on the tutorials? Or I'm talking about just your basic, you know, you have the mosaic panel done and you're going to show us how to build out.
Right.
Show us how to build out. That's what you're going to start with.
Yeah. The sleeve construction one is the first one that I'm going to do. I haven't started filming on it or anything.
Okay.
My next step is because I do have questions. I was hoping some of the people would make it over. I did post that we were going to be here, but I was having some internet issues. Oh, my post went out about an hour before we were coming on.
No worries.
So
again, we can do a follow up with this too. Like my next 5 days off.
I'm going to be doing, and I don't mind doing that. I totally don't mind at all. But I'm also going to set down. I've been making notes because this is one of the few type of videos where I do need to be coherent with how I'm explaining it.
Yeah.
And so I am making some notes on the ways to explain how you measure yourself, how you come up with what size panels should fit your body.
Okay.
So we'll be working with measurements so everybody can customize it to their fit. And so I'm working, like making some notes so I can make sure that I include enough info, because I do have several people that are wanting to start right away or already have started. So I want to answer their question.
I actually had started on mine. I said, nah, I'll just wait. The other thing is too, are you going to explain in your video when you're looking, when you're choosing your charts that you want? And a lot of hers have written directions too, because I'm terrible at charts. But are you going to kind of give a little bit, you know, the hints or a little tutorial while you're doing this about how to choose the patterns if you want to mix patterns together? In other words, like I thought I'd love I want to do butterfly lane or butterfly alley, but I want to have something along the bottom and at the cuff of the sleeve as a trim, mosaic trim.
Right.
Are you going to give some you know, hints and instruction on that?
So I've already taught that on how you mix patterns. I have a really great video that explains how you can mix different multiples together because it's doing the math. I'm going to touch on more choosing the pattern with your yarn carefully, because if you choose a multiple of 36 and you're using a size 4, you may only be able to fit like 2 butterflies on your sleeve, and that might be fine, but maybe you won't like how that looks because you won't be able to do multiple, like maybe you're going for a short sleeve, but you're using a size 4 yarn. So I wanted to focus more on thinking about, if you're going to, depending on what size yarn you're doing, how kind of match up your count. If you're doing a large yarn, you need to use a smaller pattern. So you would say, look through my like 10s and 12s and 16.
Like dyad in that?
Or larger than that. You could go with like pattern 36. I always refer to that. That's the start of the FAIRHAVEN shawl. So that one is a multiple of 12. So that would be fine, because even with a size 4 yarn, which is what I use on this, of course I'm grabbing the one that's pinned up. I want to show the sleeve again. So size 4 yarn for the size sleeve that I wanted to go with, I did 4 repeats of this. So this is Flower Power number 60. The 4 repeats was wide enough. And that's also, it's not a pattern. This is another one it's not huge, but see how big it turned out in size 4 yarn. It does kind of look for scale. This is a big pattern. It's really wide. This is size 3 yarn, but because this is a very tall pattern, it is going to kind of limit you if you're trying to mix multiple patterns together. Have like part of it be one mosaic and the other part be another mosaic. You just have to keep in mind about your size yarn, and you'll be fine. When you look at the count on what is butterfly lane, is it a 32 or a 36?
Hold on. I have it right here. It is a 32 plus 4.
Okay, so
Butterfly alley. That's butterfly alley.
Right. So a 16 plus 4 pattern would go with that. You could, that's very easy. So I divided it by 2.
Okay.
If you can evenly divide the pattern, we're paying attention to the main multiple, not our plus stitches. That's what I
Right.
call them. So our main multiple, if you can divide the other pattern evenly into it, then it will work, but you need to watch for those plus stitches. Try to, if you're +4, make sure that your next pattern is also a +4. You can hide it better on a blanket. It could mess you up with something like this because we want everything to be very even, and we don't want to have like a blip in the pattern where we're filling in an extra stitch. So you want it everything to evenly divide and need the same plus stitches to make it even on the row ends. That's all
So
we're
it's
doing.
symmetrical.
Our
So everything's
pattern.
symmetrical.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry.
So everything is symmetrical.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. It's like when you're doing a shawl.
So I
The
have
left
a really detailed video on that.
Okay.
And
Yes,
I'm
I've
gonna
watched
put
that.
that on it because I think
I'm still stupid. I'm still stupid when it
no, you were not stupid. You were not
comes to me. When it comes to it is. It's when it comes
no,
to
ma'am. No,
mixing
ma'am.
patterns.
No, nobody is. Nobody is. It is so easy for me to go, oh, this is easy for this because I created it all from start to finish. So it all makes this perfect sense to me. And it will if I walk you through it, because most of us, I think, really are visual learners. That's why we like tutorials. We like being taught through it. We like to see it done. I had to be the same way. Only thing is I just had to teach myself. And now I figured it out and I realized that I was overcomplicating it. And, when I first started, 7 or whatever years ago, when I was, discovered this geometric style of crochet out there and was trying to figure out how people made it. And I was overcomplicating it like so much. I was thinking it was so complicated, but it really isn't. It's simple shapes and it's math. And I know we're an accountant, so you can do math. It's really easy. I promise. Everyone can do it. And there's no stupid questions. There's no stupid people.
I agree because when I started on this, it would have been 3 years ago when I first tried mosaic, and literally I had a whole basket of failures, and I got so mad at it, I just put it aside, and then one day I picked it up when Butterfly Alley and Butterfly Lane come out. I picked it up and I did my first full piece mosaic.
Right. And it turned out beautiful, y'all. It turned out beautiful. Her stitches, her tension, it was beautiful. And why? Why? I think the reason why you had practice and all, but when you see one and you just absolutely love it, it inspires you. And I don't know, it just helps you, like it finally all clicks because you see something and you just absolutely love it and you just have to do it.
The light bulb come on and
right.
The light bulb come on and
it's a block. It's like a block. You get frustrated with something, you have this mental block, and I just can't do it. I just can't do it. And you're negative, in your mind about it. And it just doesn't, like, it's just right in front of you and you just couldn't see it. And then it's like,
I like butterflies. I love butterflies.
Right.
I like what they represent.
That's why I feel like anybody, even beginner crocheters, can do mosaic. Once you learn your tension in regular old crochet, once you learn that, you can then do this. That's all. That's the only thing that really separates people. We all start with learning our tension with single crochets and double crochets.
Treble crochet.
Single
double
crochet.
Yep.
And then we move to a double crochet. That is pretty standard.
Yeah. That's all we're doing. Yeah. No. Does anybody have any questions? I mean, is there something you want to ask Courtney about? I encourage you to go to her Etsy shop. When this goes to replay, I'm going to have a link to her YouTube channel, which she has a whole list of tutorials. They're in playlists by multiples, actually, and also her Etsy shop where she has her patterns. Now, a lot of her, the majority of her tutorials literally take you from start to finish on a pattern. I ask that you go ahead and get the pattern and work along with her as she's doing the tutorial. Stop it. Because I believe you guys all know I like supporting the small businesses.
And I appreciate that. But all my tutorials start with,
I know,
but ever have to buy anything. I'm teaching you the whole entire design in this video.
You're fine, dear. You're fine. You're fine. I just encourage people to help support these small businesses. You know, Bag O' Day. I mean, you know, Bag O' Day, Courtney, Just Vintage Crochet, and Lindsey. I own, and Knititude. Those 5 designers. I own 10 binders of patterns from them.
Knititude, Lindsey. Those are all patterns that are on my list. Knitting.
Because I believe in them. Josie, sweetie, I was seriously, I was like, just this goes back to anything. When I first bought a set of circular needles 40 years ago, I had no idea what they were for, but it said knitting, so I bought them. 40 years down the line, I had DPNs and I wanted to make socks. I was intimidated. Okay.
Right.
Then I figured it out. Then I delved into doing higher flyers and adding flexi flips. Okay. I mean, and 9-inch circulars and all, and I mean, each time something intimidated me, I just put my mind to it and said, I'm going to try this. And you want to know something? Once it clicked, it was like hot dog. I beat it. It's like I'm going to climb that mountain, and I reached the top, and now it's just, you know, and it's a really good feeling. You know, that you get when you accomplish something that you've been so, like, again, overthinking, which is what I did. I overthink my patterns. I've done that on Lindsay's patterns. And the thing is, I'll message her and she'll say, you're overthinking it. And then she's right. I'm overthinking it. Yes. Just read it, try it. Okay, it didn't work. Okay, I can frog it back and try it again. But eventually the light bulb comes on, it clicks, and it enables me to advance my skill set in a lot of things. I'm getting one of the projects that's on my to-do is the one by Michael from MDL Crochet that was in memory of his mother. The Forget Me Not Tunisian blanket, which is absolutely stunning, and I get teary every time I think about it. It's absolutely stunning, and that's on my list to do for this fall, as well as my brioche. So these are new techniques that I'm going to be delving into this coming fall, because I'll probably be down on the ferry by October, and that gives me the rest of the year just to play and finish up some of these whips I have in that. But at least give it a try. Without failure, you can't have success. And I have lots of failures. I've got a tote full of them. You know, and I frog it and use it for stuffing in my amigurumis, which everybody knew. I thought, I'm never going to make blankets. I'm not doing amigurumi. And what am I doing? I'm doing a dragon. I did the Krakens. I did Falcor. You know, so I mean,
yes, I loved him.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to be making another one. I'm going to be making another one. Who knows? Maybe I'll be able to get it done in time, and it'll be as a prize for the Podiversary. I don't know yet. But anyways, I have to run outside for a minute. Courtney, I'm going to let you watch the chat for a minute. I just got to go put my grill on.
I am in control again.
Yes. And I will be right back. I hate to step away, but Courtney will answer your questions.
Oh, girl, we understand. You got to get that dinner going. Everybody's got to eat.
All right, I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And shying away from it, I totally understand. Josie, it seems harder than what it is. Single crochet, double crochet. You guys are up so close in my videos. You have like a personal relationship with my crusty cuticle. I mean, I get it all the way as close as I can. So you can see exactly what I'm doing. And if you need to, you can slow the video down. And I also do subtitles. I need to read subtitles. Like when I'm watching TV and stuff like that, I need to read them most of the time. So I try, especially in the later stuff, last few years, I knew about subtitles and that people were using them and they were available. So I try to be up enough and I talk less. So you can see the whole thing come across the screen, but you can slow my videos down too. And I did a little short video about how to do that, how to slow me down to help people who needed that too. But it's very easy. You should always try. Like, if you like something, try. You're never going to know. And I really believe I believe this because people in the comments tell me that they're brand new to crochet and they saw a mosaic and that's what made them want to learn crochet. So they are learning, they're brand new, and they're already doing mosaic because it's not as hard as what people like to act like. Some people are kind of an elitist about it and think it's not a beginner friendly thing. And I disagree. And so do people in the comments. So I've been told that a lot. So I think I'm right. I'm not a professional. I definitely I don't know everything for sure. I absolutely don't. But if I can do it, y'all can do it. Like, yeah, overthinking things and the orientation of the pattern, sleeve versus body. Let me think. Okay. Which one? Which one do you want me to show? This one that's sleeve construction, or the one that was solid on top that's buried on my lap? No wonder I'm getting so hot. Can y'all tell I'm getting redder? It's because I'm buried under crochet in the 100-degree heat. Okay, this one or the other one? Right. But where are you overthinking? Just any sleeve at all, just adding the sleeves? Is that what you feel like your issue is? Sorry. Train again. So that's why we're working it all in one piece. So you want to think about that. I get the question now. Sorry, I'm a little slow. You want to think about that when you pick which construction style you do, because that matters for the pattern. I mean, to come out where it's not, like, you don't want to use the anchor pattern that I have on this, because the anchors on your sleeve would be going, the anchors would be pointing up. So it'd be anchor, anchor, anchor. And then you would make same thing when you move from the sleeve to the rest of the body. You'd be making anchor, anchor, anchor in the same direction. But then when you fold it, when you fold your panel to make it into the cardigan, you'd be anchors sideways. And when you hold your arm down, that'd be fine. But the rest of your anchors on your body would be sideways, going all the way down. So that's a construction. Choose the right construction for the pattern. There's a lot of the patterns that are just geometric that won't matter. It's going to look the same, no matter whether it's upside down, sideways, whatever. And then there's other ones where that will matter, where the orientation will matter. So if you're going to do a diamond or something like that, unless you want your diamonds to, be looking like diamonds like that, you have to pick the construction method that will allow them to lay like that. If we work the diamonds on the sleeve, starting with the sleeve, your sleeve diamonds would be turned on their side. You're folding, I think. They wouldn't quite look right from when your arm is down. I think they would look weird. Or it would be the body. I might be getting myself confused, but orientation of the pattern matters. And just pick the right construction. When we're doing the back panel one, everything that you're working, it's going to be moving up this way. Up here in this part of the panel, orientation will matter. If you make it like this, okay? If you make it where the methods that I was showing and the methods I plan to teach, where we make our top part of the cardigan, and this could be solid or mosaic, and then we join on for our next one, This one, the orientation of the patterns will work out, or we can switch to the upside down versions where needed. I mean, that's where it like gets where I have to show y'all, I think, to show you how to do which pattern to pick, what to start with, what will, you know what I mean? So, and I do have some different orientations of patterns, ones that will affect, but a lot of the patterns will be totally fine. If you start with solid at top, when we put it on this way, when we begin working with this joined into basically like a crop sweater, and then we join on and start making the mosaic part of it, you'll be fine as long as your pattern orientation isn't flipped upside down, because we'll still be working top down. So like the cactus that's out there, my cactus pattern, it's only been showed in the right side up way. It would be upside down if we worked it on in this construction method. It would end up upside down. We would have to do that's why I flipped some of the stuff on the channel. You'll see it's the same pattern, but I turned it upside down. That's why it's for top down construction. So when we're starting in our sweater, which is the same construction as the blue one that I know some of y'all have mentioned, same exact construction. When we're starting on this, we start in the back, but we're working the top. So when we make this into a sweater, we're still working from top down. So if the pattern's orientation matters, the cactus as an example of that, you would have to flip the cactus upside down, which I'm in the middle of doing actually right now.
Courtney, this may seem like a dumb question, but I'm going to ask it.
No dumb question.
Could you take the pattern? I'm just looking at what I have here. I'm just going to take this because it is. We have Butterfly Alley and Butterfly Lane. Okay, this is Butterfly Lane. This is Butterfly Alley. One's a little bit more solid. If you took the pattern, I'm just saying, if it's one that's worked upside down and you literally turned the pattern this way and worked it,
it won't work out.
Okay.
Take a look at it. If you look at it, all those double crochets have to move. Not all. Let me say that accurately. I'm not trying to deceive anybody. You could sit there and do this. You're likely to just like want to hit yourself if you've never done it before, because it really tripped me up flipping patterns upside down for a while. It was like, I was like, because I was overthinking it. But we have to shift some of those double crochets up because we're doing it in reverse. You think about how we're always moving down when we're working it. We're going downward and we're building our pattern as we move up. So when you flip it, we have to shift double crochets up. Some of them, they can't be at the end of they will land on the end, what will be the end of the row, and you'll see like they will look, it'll be in a white section like on Butterfly Alley. Yeah. And the double crochet it'll be at the very last square. It'll say an X. Underneath it will be a blue line because we're in color B on that row, and we don't have a double crochet there. So you would end up making your double crochets in places that you don't need them, and that would throw off the look of the pattern. Okay. So that's why I have to flip them. I'm going to flip them. I'm in the middle of the cactus one. So I am working on flipping more, but it's like 1,000, balls. Like I'm juggling all at one time, and it's hard to keep up with it all. It's all a lot of time. So I'm trying, but I'm wanting to focus on flipping a few because we need them for the sweater.
Yep. I'd like to see the anchors flipped.
They're already flipped. And I believe I have a flipped, to one of the same tutorial that I did for the upright. I think I did a flipped version of it. I'm pretty sure I did, but if I didn't, they are already flipped. Okay. I started realizing that, we should flip them upside down when I was doing FAIRHAVEN. Again, that's a project that's worked top down. Yep. So,
I mean,
when you're working it, you're at the very top of it when you put it on, the way you would be wearing it on your body.
Now my FAIRHAVEN is altered.
Right. Right. I'll
I
try to
put-
be more detailed, Marcia, for you in the tutorials.
See,
So
my
that I
FAIRHAVEN,
can actually explain it coherently.
like this would be a great this right here would be great for a like a a border stitch. This here I did myself. It's kind of weird.
I love
I was
it.
making,
I love it. I don't know, like it is the most beautiful thing in the world to me. I love it.
but
I
you know,
mean seriously, it's
like this
gorgeous.
hole here would be great, like to do a solid top and put this pattern here on the bottom, like you did. That would be
Yeah,
great, something like
yeah,
that, and
yeah.
then
And
have
that's
this here.
the orientation of the pattern on that does not matter. So the majority of them, I want to say anyway, the majority of them, there's a lot to choose from that you do not have to worry about pattern orientation. It'll look the same or still look very good. It won't look weird in these construction methods. So that's why I chose these two. They seem to be like the easiest to start with to kind of unlock that door so I can start making all different ones and all different kinds without needing a specific tutorial, because you'll get it once I show it to you. I really do think it'll be so much easier when I'm talking it out and doing it in tutorial style.
Okay.
And I will try to make sure, I do try to make sure that I remember that I do have a number of blind crocheters or visually impaired crocheters that
Yes.
do follow the channel. That's one of the reasons why I won't cut out stuff from the videos, no matter how many times people suggest that or get mad at me for it. I do the way I do because those people have told me that it allows
It
them to be able to work them. So I don't want to cut anybody out or make it like people who don't speak our language. Like, I need the subtitle. If I'm trying to learn something crochet wise, where I need to see their stitch and what they're doing, I can't be looking at what they're doing and reading the subtitles at the same time. So if I need to watch it to understand it, if you cut out part of that instruction at all, you're completely lost. So I think people who are overseas in other countries that speak other languages, and maybe they are like me, they're a visual learner. And so you know how when we're learning something, sometimes you can get a little bit stressed. And if I become stressed, I can't do both at the same time. So it makes it easier for them to just be able to mute me and watch exactly what I'm doing, and then they are able to follow.
I'm thinking I'm going to have to I'm going to change from that purple and go with one of my DK yarns. Maybe go with the DK.
You could definitely do that. You could, but you're mixing, shawl and the ball is kind of on the light side, but then it has a little fuzziness to it, which kind of makes it fills in well, like it is a light yarn really, but because of that fuzz, it makes it puff out. It works up kind of fluffy. It would pair well with a DK. It would.
Yep. I think when I try to do my mosaic, I always like my background color, which is usually your color A, right? Your background color is color A, to be a solid, and then have, especially if I want to highlight an ombre effect or a color transition effect for the actual pattern, which would be my color B. Now, saying that, the chevron blanket, the chevron pattern, to me, great with black, and the variegated, I mean,
multi, yes,
the multi, that works.
Yes,
that works.
You do a gray too, probably like a slate gray. If you had like a slate gray in your collection, I'm weird. I'll do it off the wall color paired with a like I would do lime green with it because there's no lime green in it. Yeah, but I am weird and I like bright.
Well, no, I mean, just like one of the things I was just using scrap yarn at the time when I did one of my first successful swatches was I used peach with a lilac.
Yes. See, I love that kind of stuff.
Great. And I see, and so I can see there's people that are going to be, are anxious to start. And I am too. Like I said, I'm trying to get like a baby gifts and stuff done that I'm doing, but I always manage to work on multiple tasks at the same
Right.
time. But I'm excited about it.
I am excited to teach it. The next thing I want to do real quick is, Josie, you're asking what yarn and hook did I use? So yarn size for me, preference. This is the yarn on this one is Yarn Art Pacific. I believe that the label says that it's a size 2 yarn. It's kind of, it's a little bit fluffy. So this is a size 2, I believe. And this is a size 1. This is Hobby Dream Club color, or Hobie Dream color, how you say it. So that is a size 1 yarn. So this is my 1 and 2 is what I'm calling it. And I did 2.75 millimeter hook. This one was done in, this is basically a house coat for me. So it's not going to be flattering style for me being plus size and with big yarn. But I did a size 4. This is Karen Crystal Cakes. So that's a size 4 and it's kind of fluffy size 4. And I used a 5 millimeter hook on this one because the yarn is fluffier. Normally, even with a 4 millimeter, I usually recommend, or I'm sorry, with the size 4 yarn, I usually recommend like no more than a 4.5 to maybe a 5 millimeter hook. I usually go with the smaller for my own stuff, but that will make it really stiff, I think, and your piece might stand on it. With the blue one that was shown in the other video, this is size 3 yarn with a 3.75 millimeter hook. So DK yarn on this one. I like DK. That's one of my favorites. I love smaller yarns, obviously, my very favorite. But this DK, I think that we might get a little bit boxy in the back on this and have a little extra fabric when I join it together if you go a little bit too big on your sizing. So I'm going to give, as much info as I can and measurements and figure out whether I end up with, I wanted a little bit of positive ease in it, but I may need negative ease or something. I'm not really sure how what it's going to really fall as when I get it done because I haven't finished it yet.
This here is the universe. This is number 1.
That's gorgeous. And that's the small one, right? Yep. Is that the original one?
Yeah.
That would be great.
Something like this? Okay.
Yeah.
I have some of that dream too. I have some of that dream. Now the placemat that I sent you was done with a bulky 5 and a 4.
Yeah. I remember you showed me a picture of it. I thought you were just swatching for yourself. I didn't know what you were doing. Tricked me. No. You tricked me. It was gorgeous. I'm very flattered. I love it. I love crochet gifts, so 100% love it and will use it.
Well, I figured you could use it on your desk or something.
Yes, Divergent. The drape is so much better, and that is what makes it where you can use any construction style that you want, any method you're familiar with. Even you could do it in the multiples, for the mosaic, so that you could fit your mosaic on it. And like, think about other sizes. They're great and they have their own place, but maybe not with these particular styles. If you don't want to look kind of like a linebacker, especially with the sleeve construction, I think that one where we start at the sleeve and then build out. So it's like the Ruana kind of kimono cardigan style deal with a V neck in the back, that style is, it's going to be wide. I'm going to look wide. I did it in a size 4. It's going to arrive before me.
Yeah, but you know what, Court, even with the size 4, like you were saying, like a house coat or something, but even in the wintertime to keep you warm.
Right,
The mosaic.
right. That's what I wanted it for, because I am typically cold natured, so I get chilly a lot, and so I like it in the winter. You know, I always have a blanket or something on me, so I was just trying to come up with something that I could throw on me instead of dragging blankets around.
Well, I'm thinking maybe once later on this summer, once the tutorial is released, we can come back here and kind of, brains, brainstorm some color combinations. I'll pull some from my stash. You could pull some from your stash. We could kind of give them some ideas. I pulled my gift. It was a gift from Courtney. It was a big surprise. My first Nelson wood hook, and I'm still debating on getting myself my ice fairy that I want to get. I've wanted one of those, but I just have trouble spending $125 US on a hook.
I know it. They're worth it, but it's like, that's a lot. I love them. I've done it, but I totally understand.
But it's something I'll work. It's on my, my for myself list down the line. I have a few other things I have to take care of first. Well, everybody, if
everybody, I understand wide. I understand completely. Normally don't do things that go over my butt either, because I mean, that just is like, hello, side of the house.
Oh, I feel like the side of a barn.
Yeah.
And I'm tall. I'm 5'7". I'm tall.
I'm not. I'm 5'6". So
I'm a whole inch taller than you. The only thing the good Lord gave me small was my feet. I wear a size 6.5, 7 shoe. The only thing I got small.
I got big feet.
I wanted to check in with everybody, and I want to thank everybody for coming.
Thank you all
for coming. This is just like a preliminary. I wanted to expose you, my dear.
Yeah, you did. That thumbnail. Hey, that thumbnail. You better fix that.
I will fix the thumbnail. I will fix it. And
I do not want to be like that.
Oh, Wild Diversion 5'1". I've always wanted to be short. I grew in my sophomore year of high school, hit 5'7", and that was it. I never grew again. But
I only have 5 inches on you, girl. 5 inches, okay?
Yeah, I got 6. I got a half a foot. I feel like I'm standing next to Lauren.
That 6 really pushes her. She's not one of us, okay? She's on the tall people's side. We are over here on the short people's side. I say I'm like a T-Rex. I have short little arms, that little body.
I got short arms, but I got 32-inch inseam for my legs. I'm long-legged. But please go check out her Etsy shop. Look at the patterns, then go check the channel out. Now, when you go to her channel, make sure you leave a comment, thumbs. Please put the thummies for the video here, because we are approaching 3,200 watch hours, and I hit 3,000. Can you believe it?
Yes. So yes, long overdue. I cannot wait. So
well, it'll just be a bigger podiversary celebration. I will be coming back in.
I want to share this. I want to share this out. Like, I want to share a link to the replay for you too.
As soon as this is done, I'm going to. Well, as soon as I got to run out to the grill, and I'm grilling tonight on the grill as a treat for Barb and I, making steak, baked potatoes, corn on the cob. I made broccoli slaw, and I made pistachio pudding for dessert, and cut up watermelon. But
nice.
Well, when I work 5 days, I don't get to have a decent meal. It's just sandwiches for 5 days.
Yeah.
So I try to eat. I mean, I've been on I'm trying to drop a few pounds. Not the right way though. Not in the heat. But no. And again, please check her channel out. I so want to see Courtney grow, because she really has a great channel, and she's phenomenal at doing tutorials. Okay, I am pre-nursery school tutorials compared to her tutorials. Okay, and I have a whole playlist. It's a private playlist on my playlist. There's nothing but Courtney, the whole thing. And I go back and I watch. And I
do the same to her channel. I do the same thing to her channel. I do the same and I want to see you grow. And it's your live, and let's promote you and check out. Antoinette has you can join her Island Yarnies on Ko-Fi, and she has a couple of Shop My Stash videos going.
Yeah.
I need to shop her stash because she needs to get rid of stash. A yarn stash. We're all trying to downsize a little bit in our hoarding habit of yarn. I'm focusing on using more yarn, so I've been trying to make a point to crochet things for myself and not some stuff for the channel. So she is trying to get rid of her yarn stash. I'm going to head over and look at it, but I'm not going to be able to buy because I need to just send you some of mine, but then that would kind of ruin your whole
purpose. I have and my backdrop, that anchor, I've got a new one coming with a lighthouse. So yeah, I have a new one coming. I'm all about nautical. My bedroom's getting painted in the fall, Bay of Fundy colors. But yeah, I'm painting it myself. Yes, Divergent, her tutorial, that's how I learned to do mosaic. Now, flipping it over here, Michael at MDL is helping me in my Tunisian. My Tunisian crochet, because he's got just stitch tutorials and stuff like that.
Yes, I saw that, and I love your channel, by the way.
yes,
love
Michael.
it. The next time I hurt myself, I'm going there, and because I did knitting, I started learning knitting last time I hurt myself. So this next time I hurt myself, I will be on your channel for real, Michael. I'm for real, because I love it. I've never. I've played just a little bit with Tunisian, probably not even doing anything correctly. So you could completely school me, and I love your channel. So I'm going to be checking out and learning some Tunisian. I stick my tutorials and stuff, I stick those to just mosaic. It just seems simple to keep it, one subject.
Well, do you still have the tutorials from early on in your channel that you were doing when you were doing a lot of the open work? You still have those
They're all still there. They're terrible. They're terrible, but they are all still there. They definitely are. But
because
a lot of pattern away from garments. A lot of people are intimidated by them. I hope that if you are intimidated, please do not look at my old tutorials. I am talking too much. I am very annoying. Do not watch them. But I hope that when I show this stuff, it gives you more confidence that you can do it. I kind of break it down because it really is simple. There's no I'm not doing any magic, guys. I'm not inventing anything new. You know it, and you don't even know you know it.
Courtney, my first Tunisian project was a coat. That was the very first Tunisian project I did, was a coat. Yes, I tore the whole thing down, and it's finally all back into cakes. But it's going to be done again because I learned a lot by doing that.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with carrying out your projects. There really isn't. It's a way of learning, and and in the end, when you do finish it, and you sit there and you look at it and you say, "I made that." Oh, my poor mannequin. Manelli's naked. I'll have to get something. I'll have to put FAIRHAVEN back up on Manelli. She's hiding her face, so her hat's down. But no, I want everybody to, just go check it out, and just do a couple swatches. Just get a pattern, like if it's a multiple of 16 and 4, chain 32 plus your 4, and just try, doing a swatch. It makes, and I'll tell you, they make great, put them together to make a great blanket. They make great placemats, wall hangings. I did a pillow with the butterfly alley that I did a butterfly pillow out of it. But it was a way for me to practice on a small project, instead of going into a blanket or something like that. It's just, and it really, you get a good feeling. You really do. But oh, Tony Lipsy, Josie. Yeah, Tony Lipsy also has Tunisian. And the thing is, everybody learns different. Some are visual, but also too, you can have two people doing the same pattern, but it's easier for you to learn from one person than it is another. You may just click with that person, whether it's their voice is soothing or the way they present the tutorial. Everybody's different.
Right.
Courtney, her tutorials are spot on. Michael, I've watched some of his tutorials. Very soothing voice, very gives good explanations step by step. So when you
Very
learn.
good. Very good.
So we're going to wrap this up, and I hope thank you all for coming. If you're watching the replay, thank you. Please go check Courtney out. Check Michael out. Check anybody that you see in the chat has a channel. Go check them out. And it's all about supporting each other. And hopefully I'll see you in the next installment of Courtney and this adventure we're going to be going on with her and the cardigan. Start looking at your stash. See what you have. Don't buy yarn. Use your stash.
Yeah, use your stash. I'm big proponent of use your stash. 100%.
Yeah, you don't have to. I bought very little yarn in the past year and a half. Very little. And
Same.
I'm selling
4.
it, you know.
I can tell you exactly how many. 4 balls to finish the blue. This one I ran out of yarn of one of the colors. I thought I had more than what I did.
And I mean, you'd be surprised what you can find in your stash. I mean, I keep finding new things. Oh my God, I forgot I had this. You know.
Oh yeah, that's a whole separate discussion right there.
Yes, we'll have to have that with it. Maybe the next live we'll do a discussion on our yarn stashes or our yarn recipes. It's a yarn recipe.
Shock and awe we feel when we dig down deeper and we're like,
I don't believe in staff shaming anybody. I don't believe in it. Thank you, Doris. Yes, it was nice hanging out with all of you. Thank you so much, everybody. We will be doing another live.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.
And we will see you later. This will be going to replay. I'll be putting all the information. Oh, thanks for coming, Courtney. Thank you so much. All right. Love you guys.
All right, love you. Bye.
We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.